It's Tuesday afternoon, and the Crew family of Adelaide, 7-year-old Neve, 6-year-old Dean, and 3-year-old Jade are enjoying some free-range time. A common Australian afternoon backyard scene? Well, not quite. These days, the Crew family is a rare exception. Everyone else is stuck indoors working hard. Claire and Scott Crew have said no to homework.
Most parents don't realise that they actually have a say in this and that they can advocate for their rights. And I think as well part of it is that they just determine that if the school is setting the homework, there must be some advantage to their child actually doing it. They're not getting the memo that there's potentially no academic benefit at all.
In homework days, were the tensions at home?
Most definitely. It was a constant battle. So you got 3 children, we have 3 children, to get homework done, dinner on, and try and keep a really calm environment while trying to sit the kids down and keep them in a structured format they'd been at all day. To come home, to sit them down and continue on that, it ended up in tears for everyone.
Claire, herself an ex-teacher, says giving up homework is the best thing their family has done. The kids are not forced to do anything academic after school. Instead, they're left to mould their own leisure time.
What do you say is happening here instead of homework?
They are learning through play, they're learning through using their senses, and they're getting that time to recharge, ready for a new day of school tomorrow.
Are you enjoying this?
Yes.
Is it better than homework?
Yes.
And how did you tell the teacher?
I just explained, we don't do homework in our house as a general rule, and this is why, but they're not just sitting in front of the TV or the computer. Do they have the right to tell me what to feed my children for breakfast or dinner or an afternoon snack? No, so they can set homework, but at the end of the day, it's our decision and our children's decision as to whether it's done.
She sings, she dances, and she acts, but she's also a mum. Deborah Kryzak is currently starring in Anything Goes, but when it comes to homework, she is much more conservative than she looks.
When we get to this spot, I feel I should put you right.
Deborah's spent a lifetime honing her skills through hard work and repetition. So, naturally, she doesn't see anything wrong with being firm about her 7-year-old twins, Aidan and Kiana, labouring over the 3 R's every single night at home.
So look, say, cover, right. Okay, which group are we now?
So despite the research that suggests that homework mightn't actually help much, you persist with it anyway.
Well, as you can see, Charles, it's Poppy. Off you go. Write that one. It's not a struggle for them. They enjoy it. It gives them a chance to come home from school. It reinforces what they do at school. They get to do it. They have a little test. Sold dear, that's a hard one.
I like it because suddenly it's peaceful.
It's peaceful and quiet. It settles them down.
10 minutes ago it was pandemonium before you started this.
Next one, Army. But yeah, they do, and it doesn't take us very long. They seem to be very committed to doing the project. So obviously there's a level of enjoyment in it, the same way as when they go to soccer or dancing, whatever else they do. They enjoy it just as much, so why not do it? Last one.
Certainly Deb is right that research says homework helps kids become more organised as they head into the later years of schooling.
If the school sets me a guideline and us parents that we need you to do a little bit of homework, I don't see any harm in doing that. We're always disciplining our children in some way. If we let them set all the rules, it can make for a very unhappy home life, I believe.
Life wasn't meant to be easy. Kids, do your homework.
Yeah. You're going to use that one, aren't you?
Quite likely.
Yeah.
I've got to admit to a little bias here, because as a kid, I hated homework and as a parent I still do. I think that 30 hours a week is more than enough education for small children. After all, isn't childhood meant to be enjoyed? They have ahead of them a long life with all the possibilities of stress, strain and anxiety. So I think I'm on the kids' side here when I say no more homework.
All jokes aside, homework is drudgery. The average Australian kid now spends 7 hours a week doing homework. That's 1.7 hours more than 5 years ago. Time spent sleeping, hanging out with friends and playing sport decreased by a total of 2.4 hours during that time. And a recent Australian survey found that 71% of parents felt they weren't spending enough quality time with the kids. They were too busy with running the household and helping with homework. But in Finland, where there's no homework, students perform better on all international tests. They were more likely than their Australian counterparts to graduate from high school and go on to university.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall.
These Year 2 students at Melbourne's The Knox School are happy to have joined the revolution, giving old school homework the flick. Led by a passionate teacher, Richard Black, who says he hasn't set homework of the old-fashioned kind for years, the little world of Class 2B is clearly thriving. They're having fun.
How different would the mood be here today if the kids had been burdened with homework last night?
If they've been burdened with a traditional get this done and you have to do it on my time scale, and there was an adversarial feel in the classroom in the morning of you need to get this done on my time scale, and if you haven't got it done, what's your excuse? Then they're starting off on a negative straight away.
Sure, these kids learn at home, but there's none of the endless spelling lists, maths worksheets and dreary mental chores for these 7 and 8-year-olds.
So about 2 pancakes, if we cut them in half, how many halves will we have?
4. I'd like to start from last night.
Instead, Mr. Black's students are asked to cook a recipe with a parent, walk the dog, or start their own special interest project on their favourite animal, and then report back to their class about what they've learned.
Last night I did drum practice. I did Scrabble. Can't remember what else I did.
They love being able to choose their own tasks. They've felt empowered to choose towards their goals.
Because you don't call it homework.
That's right. We're trying to guide them towards that gradual release of responsibility. We're trying to guide them towards their independent creation of tasks. And having children say, well, I need to work on how I measure or how I know my measurements of kilograms and grams or millilitres and litres. If I cooked, that would help. Can I cook?
Because how cool to be able to eat your homework.
Sure, absolutely.
The research about homework and learning says basically it's not very effective for kids' learning and development in primary school.
We're building a bridge. It's going to be so much fun.
Somewhat offbeat academic, Professor Mike Horsley is the nation's leading expert on this subject. At Central Queensland University on the Sunshine Coast, he's crunched the homework numbers and is adamant that for kids under 12, homework is a waste of time.
For many parents, they see homework as an accountability measure of the school. They think, well, if the school is setting a lot more homework, then it must be a good school because they're very concerned with the students' learning, or they want to build a bigger bridge between the school and the home. But the reality is that setting more homework will not improve kids' performance on these tests in primary school.
It's about the time of
Tutankhamun,
yeah.
King Tut.
King Tut, yeah.
And he practices what he preaches with his own cute little guinea pig, 8-year-old daughter Sadie, who is free either to do her homework or not. Happy is the life of an anti-homework theorist daughter. Dad says if Sadie must do homework at all, let's at least make it enjoyable.
There should be less of it, and it should be of higher quality, and teachers should plan it in a different way.
You're the expert. Did you do your homework?
I did do my homework.
Because you've done all right, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done all right. But there's a lot of people who haven't done their homework, and they've done even better.
Back in Adelaide, I can't help but think the Crew family have got it right.
What's the password? Ding, 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 ding.
All the leading research tells us that homework is not the password to academic success. Science suggests there's a good and humane argument that those precious few primary school years should be filled with delight, laughter and joy.
They're moving, we go to the playground, they move outside, they're creating, a strong brain through that movement. They're getting messy, using their senses, helping me prepare dinner if they feel like it, interacting with our chickens, doing a lot of learning through life experience.
And you guys seem to be having a lot of fun with them too.
A lot of fun. I think above all, children need to be connected and they need to be seen and respected for the individuals that they are. So it makes sense to me that I'm spending time connecting with them and they're getting time to choose what they want to do in that free time.
Hello, I'm Allison Langdon. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.